Hello, everyone. Well, first of all, it's a huge honor to be here today, to be invited. I just came from the snowy Lithuania. It was almost that I did not arrive. I arrived here to meet in Portugal flooding. So as we see, we have anomalies. We have anomalies in climate, and we see the climate is changing. So we are facing it. There is no way that we can escape it, except for the applying new methods, applying new technologies, applying new models. And just very quickly, for example, Lithuanians have had so mild winters that we have started using new types of crops, winter crops, for the 3 years probably, and we have made our sowing much later. So what we're gonna be seeing this year, it's gonna be affecting us very much so in the yields. Why? Because we got so much snow so early in the season, and our new types of crops are not used to it. So that's probably why we need technology, why we need to be talking about the Green Deal in digitalization, so we can apply this technology in order to help us. Very quickly, what kind of organization I'm from? I'm from AgriFood Lithuania, and as I was introduced, I'm a director. And our organization works in two types. That's, first of all, trying to help agri-food sector in digitalization and reaching Green Deal goals. And on the other hand, we are cluster. Our cluster was created in Lithuania in 2011, and also we have united different stakeholders, technology stakeholders creating technologies in agri-food sector, and also the companies, other clusters, universities who are implementing those technologies and helping for the sector to transform. So basically our priority areas are the main as the technology implementations, reskilling and upskilling, testing beds, networking, empowerment of young people, women in the region, supporting innovation ecosystem, creating those, supporting research and development. So far, we are one of the edicts in Lithuania concentrating in the agri-food sector. We are also EAT Food Hub, and we are proud to be a community member of EAT Food. And also, we are very active on European level, working together with the other cross-sectorial clusters. Very quickly, today has been said so much information, and while I was waiting for my presentation, I was thinking what else I can tell to all you experts. Probably lots of very important topics were already touched, but I will try to summarize. Very quickly, let's remember where we started. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not changing. Okay. Right here, I'm sorry. So where we started. We have started that we have new industrial strategy for the upcoming period from European Commission, which we all member states agreed on, and agri-food sector is official one of the ecosystems on the whole EU. So this is very important to remember when we talk about that. Then we have a Green Deal, and we have many funding schemes coming up for the Green Deal, and if we see the priority areas, we have 9 of those in the Green Deal, and out of 9, 3 are directly connected to the agri-food sector. So again, I would like just to underline, sometimes I think I have a feeling. I've been traveling this autumn so much, I have made 25 flights, participated in 20 conferences and events all over Europe, and sometimes I get the feeling that we forget that agri-food sector, in my mind at least, is one of the most priority sectors in the whole EU, especially now after COVID period and still with the war going on in Ukraine and all of us talking about the food security. So we need to remember that, and also we need to remember that our main goals which have been set up, that's transformation that we are looking at, and leaving no one behind. So when we talk about the transformation, we need to talk about the whole food value chain. So of course, one of the most important parts of this transformation is strategy from farm to fork. And again, in many cases, we do not talk that much why we started that. For me, for example, it was also quite a surprise that we have more than 50% of the whole EU population overweight. That's quite a surprise. You would expect, you know, we kind of used to that there is such a problem maybe in United States or even UK, but not in the whole EU. But yes, we have it. And then agri-food sector is responsible for our emissions. So by implementing strategy from farm to fork, we need also to remember that European Union has made a promise to have enough of the affordable food. We've talked today, I've heard in many discussions, we are talking about healthy, we are talking about technology, but we need to make sure that food stays affordable and, of course, then environmental friendly. Then we need to ensure fair income and the solid support for the primary production. And when we talk about that, first of all, we always talk about the small farmers. And of course, what is the main goal? The main goal for the European Union to make the independent agri-food or food ecosystem and have the global competitiveness. So these are probably main ideas behind that. And recently, just actually last week, European Innovation Council has approved new innovation agenda, where I think we get a new fantastic opportunity for the regions, for the rural areas, that we're gonna be supporting or creating something new, which is regional innovation valleys. So something to look at and see as an opportunity, especially for the each of the member states, because it's again will have to be co-supported by the member states government. And out of that, we're already talking about the brand new European Commission initiative. I don't know if you, some maybe of you have heard of it. It just started last year, Startup Villages. So again, this is brand new initiative for the rural areas to look at. By listening today of the presentations and talks, I've noticed one thing, which is very important. We talk and we think that our region, our country is somehow unique, but I have to tell you for sure, the problems and the challenges are the same, almost. Some of them, I agree, it's based on the regions, but almost all of them are the same. If we look at that, we have a depopulation in the regions, we have pure low innovation, accessibility, and overall, as we can agree, agri-food sector is least digitalized and, of course, most conservative sector in the world. And again, I've heard already, not in one talk today, public opinion. What kind of public opinion we have about the agri-food sector overall. And I think this is very important when we talk about changing food system, changing food value chain. We need to be, of course, talking about engaging everyone, from the primary production to the end consumer, to the public. Because only by engaging all the parts, we could be reaching the actual results. And this is, I love this scheme. I've been showing it a lot. I'm sorry if somebody has seen it before, but I love it because in one way it's very simple. On the other way, it shows if we are talking about the technology implementation, digitalization in the food value chain, look how complex it is. So there is no one easy answer. When we are talking about it, we need to be talking about different parts, connecting those together from the primary production, from the manufacturing to the HoReCa sector, to the consumers, to the logistics, to the bioeconomy, byproducts producers, and etc. packaging. So it's quite complex, and there is no one easy way to deal with it. But is it possible? I think, of course, it is if we collaborate. So main priorities I've heard many times already today mentioned those for the innovation of the agri-food sector, where we are going, what we are striving for. That's, of course, bioeconomy, climate technologies, alternative proteins, and et cetera. You can see the wide list on the screen. But let me ask you one question. Would you put the equal between green and sustainable? Who agrees that green equals sustainable? Please raise your hand. See, no one. So what we're talking about, right? So green is not sustainable? Yes, madams and sirs, yes, that it is. So that means a lot of work needs to be done. Green technologies not necessarily brings the sustainability. If we are talking about food value chain sustainability, we need to be talking, of course, about 3 different dimensions: economical, social, and then only environmental. Tools. Very shortly, I would like to mention, again, when we are creating agri-food ecosystems at our national, especially national levels, I always say that we forget probably, I don't know, in some cases I noticed that, smart specialization strategies. Raise your hand. How many know what's your smart specialization strategies in Portugal? Gonzalez, you're the only one. Yeah, so this is again to look at, and especially for the local government, for the local businesses, for the local clusters, for the local communities, because smart specialization strategy, this is the main foundation which is gonna be underlying your innovation funding. That's again something to look at and be the part of, because I know still some member states are on the process to approve those. Some are already done with the process. So it's a good time to check it out and see what kind of smart specialization strategies you've got in your region or your country. And for the implementing innovations in the agri-food sectors, we have quite a few actors. When we talk about the actors, I always say that I'm not talking theoretically, I'm talking practically. That means those stakeholders have funding opportunities. These are the stakeholders to go to or work with together. So digital innovation hubs, European digital innovation hubs. On the way here to the conference, I found out, please correct me if I'm wrong, that you've got 12 European digital innovation hubs in Portugal. Okay, so that's a lot. We have 3 only in Lithuania, and those gonna be the main stakeholders bringing you digitalization to the sectors. Again, then EAT food hubs, you only have got 1. Clusters, again, clusters. Why clusters? These organizations that could bring you cascade funding. Lots of clusters are participating on EU levels in different consortiums, especially in agri-food sector, I know that for sure. because I'm an active member of the clusters community, and they have upcoming new funding schemes for the innovations, innovative ways, and supporting the SMEs for the implementing different technologies. So these are also where to look at. Again, network of networks, connecting dots together, working together. Do not be afraid. I even encourage, please participate. Now there are so many opportunities to participate online or to go and visit different conferences, networking events, especially B2Bs. If you would just Google, we've got so many matchmaking events going for the agri-food sector all over Europe, and in many cases that's online. So these are huge opportunities also to get together into the consortiums and get different fundings for the agri-food sector for implementation innovations. And competence centers, that's again, something new. In some countries, I already seen emerging new funding opportunities. I know AgriFood Lithuania, we just also started a new initiative for the forestry, digitalizing the forestry, but it could be the case also in your country. Sorry. Okay, this is just an example how, again, stakeholders are collaborating. For example, digital innovation hubs, connecting through the value chain with the clusters can bring even more funding, more knowledge, more collective knowledge, knowledge sharing, and of course support for the whole innovation ecosystem. So how this agri-food innovation ecosystem usually looks like, if we are talking something about the state of art, of course everyone needs to be involved. And when we say that we have some kind of innovative ecosystem, so we need to turn to that it should be working directly with the government, investors, different associations, science institution, and creating startup ecosystem. And I really congratulate Portugal on co-labs. I think this is a fantastic initiative that you are working in. I wish we could have something similar in Lithuania. I think this is really a good start for the really innovative agri-food ecosystem. Again, what kind of services, how it could be how we could look at the agri-food innovation ecosystem. Of course, we have heard today a lot about test beds, testing, test labs. So this is true experimentation, especially in the agri-food sector, and I would say in the primary production. It is very important to underline what we are talking about, because from what we've been talking with farmers, it's very hard for them to count or see the value of implementing the technology. So I always say that's probably, it's almost impossible, especially for the small farmers, just to go and invest without any governmental support or any other organizational support. So this is very important that we have such test beds. Then, of course, helping to find the investments, needed investments, skills and training, reskilling, upskilling, new competencies needed. I've heard today talking about that and in the previous panel that indeed we see brand new people. We need brand new people with different thinking, and in many cases we see that new people already want to join the rural community. We have that examples in Lithuania. For example, we have had this entrepreneurial program for the women in the agri-food sector to support them, to empower them, and our second place winner, she is zero waste farmer, and they just started the farm a year and a half ago, with the family moving from the city to the rural area with no experience, just with the idea, and with a huge passion to do zero waste farming. And now, after a year and a half, they already won this prize and at our program, and they are probably one of the biggest stars right now in the media in Lithuania, talking a lot about how to use those not attractive vegetables, berries, and what it could be made out of it, and how to make it zero waste farms. And of course, helping everyone, all the stakeholders in the ecosystem for the networking and collaboration. I think, in my opinion, that's probably one of the most important things. That's collaboration, collective knowledge sharing. Again, startups are being seen more and more as the key elements to help rural areas to become more lively, or to, again, how to say, to attract young people back. There is this study, official study in European Union, that in order to get our rural areas again populated, we need to attract back young people and women. So what do we need for rural areas then? Infrastructure, of course, for the startups, if we are talking about that. Support for the investments, again, community engagement. This is very important for community to see the value out of that. Shared values, upskilling, reskilling. Maybe we have people living in rural areas which do not now fit the competencies that we would like to have in the startups, but maybe we can help with the reskilling and upskilling. And of course, again and again, I'm going to be underlying that governmental support. I think it is very, very important element. Without governmental support, regional governmental authority support, I think it would be very hard to implement any of the initiatives. I agree that businesses, companies play a huge role, but again, policies need to be adapted and made for the businesses to continue and work. This is very, very important. And, okay. For some reason, it does not showing all the logos. Oh, it's a pity, but I'm gonna say just on what we are working. We are working on many different initiatives. For example, AgriFood Forum, which you do not see here. You can imagine this is our biggest annual event in the agri-food sector in Baltic states. It's an international forum which has been held this year for the 5th time. And why it is a state of art? Because for now, we are united not only knowledge triangle, that's governmental institutions, large enterprises, small businesses, farmers, but also universities, and not only on the national or Baltic regional level, but also we are attracting all the key players from whole EU, which is very important, I think, to work together and to collaborate. So that means that we are already working not only on our national, regional scale, but we are working together with the whole EU. Also, we are very famous as an organization for the different types of the hackathons, and this year, for the first time in EU, we have had an honor to be patroned by Commissioner Maria Gabriel, and we have organized the first Hack Startup Village Hackathon for the whole EU, just to make or create the concept, how those startup villages that I have started to talk about could be implemented in the whole EU and how the concept could look like. Also, Digital Sea, even though from the first sight you would never say that Lithuania is like a sea country, not like Portugal, but we have had 2 years in a row the biggest international Digital Sea conference, which is a part of the European Commission's initiative, Marine Time in My Country. And we have talked about the issues of aquaculture and Baltic Sea. And the Baltic Sea, it's the third most polluted sea in the world. So it's again, even though it seems that our problem should be very different, we are talking about the same issues and the same things. Very quickly, just to show you also the innovations and how they are looking at the national hour level what we have. If you would put mobile flying laboratory, the first link, please, just to show you one of the biggest So again, innovations are not only changing, I think it's not it, the second link. Yeah. Yeah. Innovations are not only changing the agri-food sector, I think they're making it totally different, the way we look at the agriculture. So collecting the data. Do we have the sound?
It is a unique mobile flying laboratory with no equivalent in the world, capable of assessing complex crop physiological processes and detecting non-visual signs of crop metabolism under field conditions. This innovative technology removes the need for a traditional laboratory and determines the amount of chemical elements in each crop in the field, all done very quickly and at an attractive price. The findings of the analysis give farmers an opportunity to improve on their crop production sustainability and efficiency due to prediction of potential plant stress and the lack of micro and macronutritional elements, efficient fertilization time, substance and quantity planning, optimization of work planning and resource utilization. Results are obtained by crop field scanning with high-resolution hyperspectral cameras, which, depending on field size, can be mounted on drones or even airplanes. The gathered multidimensional spectral data is processed by advanced artificial intelligence algorithms and converted into information relevant for the farmer.
Digitalization, technology is bringing brand new view on the agri-food sector. Thank you. Now the slides. But to answer the question which was raised in the beginning of my presentation, how innovation is changing European agri-food sector, I would say not innovation is changing agri-food sector, people and collaboration. Thank you so much.